y'all doing today? Today is Sunday where I'm at. What are we? 9:45 p.m. Eastern Time Zone. We are going to look at some Forex pairs today. We're going to look at mostly the majors along with a couple minor pairs. These are just ones I see potential in. First one we're going to look at is the Aussie Dollar. We got the EurUsd, GbpUsd, NzdUsd, the dollar CAD, also the US dollar and the Mexican peso. I do also see a move on that one for this week. And then for our minor pairs, we have Aussie CAD as well as New Zealand dollar and the Canadian dollar. All right, so first one we're going to look at here, we have the Aussie dollar on the daily chart. Let me just collapse this a little bit. All right, so as you can see, we are clearly at a point of resistance right now. We had a very strong rejection here. We had rejections all within here, broke through, retested, 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 dropped, came back, retested again one more time, fell through. And since then, we've made a strong move up. Very strong. Even looking at the RSI, we are nearly at 90%. That is heavily overbought right now. So now digging deeper into these candles, as you can see, we had strong bullish momentum once we broke this level here. So that is going to be a point of value that we want to watch. Since then, the past 3 days, we had indecision candles with strong wicks on top on each one of these days. All right, so there is still bullish momentum, but they are losing momentum. All right, so because these have small bodies, wicks on both sides, clearly we are losing momentum. Bears are beginning to enter again. So I do see this at least coming back for a retrace. Don't know if we'll get back here. However, these are areas I would like to watch. I would like for this to even break here and then see a move down. All right. So if we can get maybe a breakthrough here, a move down there, possibly get another break and move down there. But if we don't, we'll see a move higher. I do suspect that the Aussie dollar will get stronger over the medium to longer term. However, short term, I do see the US dollar gaining some of this value back that it's lost over the last little bit. All right, so I just want to confirm why I have these minor zones in here. All right, we have this touch here, these here, this one, and then this minor zone here, we have some play around there, right here, right here, right here, right there. All right, so we clearly have some minor zones within this bigger range that we had. All right, so these are going to be our major and our minors. This one here, as you can see, it doesn't look perfect here, but I do have it plotted on here because of the monthly chart. Oh, shoot, was it the weekly? Okay, I think that was the Aussie CAD. We'll get to that one in a minute. But anyway, we do have a potential move down, and we are looking in the longer term to go up. All right, let's move on to EurUsd. Again, we are overbought. This one I was looking on the weekly chart. All right, we've been following through with this trend, this channel here that we've seen moves in for a long time now. We do have this resistance zone within here that we've seen for a very long time as well. Support down here. So I do suspect that we may not make it all the way back down to here. However, a move into this zone with this support, that support, these resistance zones, which is exactly in our mid range. All right. I bet if I pulled this further, yeah, we got some play within this mid range here. All right, so I do suspect at least we see this level here and then maybe a move up. If not, we may come all the way through down to this level again for one last bearish move. Okay, so that is the EurUsd. Let's see what it did on a lower time frame, because I do want to show you that. All right, so this is going to be our first zone that we're going to want to pay attention to. We had a strong resistance there, as well as other touches back in this area. If I pull this further, you would notice that. But then if we drop down to a 1 hour time frame, all right, we've had little minor zones. So we've been moving up very structured. All right, it's been very nice moves. Actually, let me go to the 4 hour chart quickly. Since we broke this zone here, right, this was a nice little range that we were bouncing through, and then we hit this mid range right here where we had resistance, became support, along with a nice little trend that we had touches here, followed through here, and then we've been following this trend, which has been even steeper. All right, came back, retested, moved up, hit our daily zone that I just showed you, moved up, retested, moved up. However, on this 1 hour time frame, as you can see, that last move up, we had support here. It tried to go a little higher but failed, broke back through that support zone, came back and we retested, and we just rejected it in the past hour, roughly 2 hours ago now. But we do have a bearish engulfing candle on that rejection. So if we can get a break through this trend line, I would feel very good shorting this. Again, on that daily time frame, we are heavily overbought past the 80%. And this is consistent with all US dollar pairs right now. They are all heavily overbought. The dollar has been sold off very hard lately. All right, now the pound USD. All right, as you can see, we have our zone within here. So we have our resistance level up here. And I do suspect that we will come back to test this trend where we've seen structure zones before. As you can see right here, support, 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 became resistance, was resistance here. We did break through, so this is another level that I do want to pay attention to. This is going to be our minor zone within our major zones. So it's possible that we do only test that level first, but we will look for a move down here. If it breaks, look for another move down to 124.5, and then again we are looking higher in the longer term. All right, and this one here, you may have noticed it. I don't know if you picked it up, but we do have a slight divergence here. Price moving higher, RSI coming down, and this is on the 4 hour time frame. I'm sure it's even more noticeable on the 1 hour time frame. RSI coming down. We do have a double top forming here. So even if we can break this level, I may even be comfortable adding a small position just on the break of this based on this double top and this RSI divergence. All right. So that's a quick short-term trade, maybe down to this zone here. And then if that decides it wants to continue, we'd be looking for this level here. All right, so that's the dollar, or the pound dollar. Well, let's jump over to dollar CAD. So this one I'm not 100% sure on. It is a little risky because there's no real signal just yet. On the weekly chart, I mean, we've had very, very strong bearish moves. We are somewhat close to a support zone here, but we haven't quite made it yet. If we move down to a daily chart, it does look a little bit closer. We do have these levels in over here along with this one here. So it's very possible if we do get a bullish move up on the daily chart, let's say we get a nice move up to cover most of this bearish candle that we saw on Friday, I would feel safe to move up to the 136.5 area, where on the weekly chart I did show that we had a nice zone in there. We had that resistance level, that resistance level. So that is something I would like to look for if we can get back up to there, retrace off some of that. That's, I would say, roughly 38.2. Yeah, so we got about a 38.2 right there. It is a strong trend right now, so I do not suspect it'll hit the 50, probably not even the 618. It'll probably just stop at the 382 because the trend is very strong right now to the downside, but a retrace is likely. However, you want to wait for confirmation. Let's look at the RSI again, heavily oversold. We're at the 15 mark right now. Like I said, basically happening with all US dollar pairs right now. They are the US dollar has been oversold heavily in the past couple weeks. All right, let's jump up to NzdUsd. This one here, we do have our resistance zone that we are playing in right now. This one was very strong last week. If you follow me on Instagram, my link will be in the description. But I did point out a setup on NzdCad last week. But I basically mentioned in that post that all New Zealand pairs were probably going to go up last week because of the commitment of traders report. All right, they added a lot of positions on the New Zealand dollar and they reduced their positions on other pairs. All right, so that was I'll link the description if you want to read that post quickly just to get an idea of how I use the commitment of traders report. But I'll do another video explaining exactly how I have it all laid out in Excel and how I actually read it. All right, but that post does give a small glimpse into how I use it for a bias. All right, this one here on a weekly chart, you can see we have a nice zone within this level here that we are now in. All right, yeah, look at this weekly candle. Last week was unreal for the New Zealand dollar. But a retrace off that, it's very probable at this point because we do have a nice resistance level. All right. And then hitting support will be this zone right in here, where we had nice support, support, and support right there. All right, again, RSI, heavily overbought, 4-hour chart, kind of starting to roll over a little bit. Volume is decreasing with price increasing. Our candles, again, lot of wicks on these candles at this level here. So clearly we do have a resistance level. Sellers are beginning to enter into this market, and yeah, the pressure is on. All right. So now, US dollar, Mexican peso. This one was a crazy move lately. On the weekly chart, we had this triangle pattern here, this wedge pattern. We broke out very strongly, and then we consolidated for a little bit up there. On the daily chart, we broke this trend here and then started moving down strongly. If we move over left a little bit, you can see where we, oh, let's go to a weekly chart, make it a little bit easier for you to see. Where we are right now is right at that level. All right, so we retraced off this nice bullish move. I would say this is roughly 50%. It looks like. Well, actually, it's about a 618. So that's a nice level to be bouncing off of. All right, so we're right in between our 50% and our 618 off that move there. All right, so let's go back to our daily chart. As you can see, that zone that I just pointed out, we are right there right now. We are past the 80% RSI, jumping down to a 4-hour time frame. You can see we do actually have what looks like a double bottom that is forming. All right, so a signal for this one. Oh, and also we have, again, on a US dollar pair, RSI divergence. So all of these US dollar pairs, they're showing signs that they want to at least retrace, right? And that is good confluence between all the pairs. And usually when that happens, it's likely to actually play out. All right. So again, we have a double bottom here. I would like to see a break of this for a nice confirmation, a move up to around the 23 price range. All right. So if we can get a move up, break here, and then we'll be looking for a longer move up to this zone right there. All right. We have our support, was resistance at one point, resistance here again. All right, so that's the zone we're going to be looking for on this pair. Now, let's jump over to our minor pairs that we're going to look at, which is going to be the Aussie dollar and the Canadian dollar. So, on a daily chart, you can see we had a nice zone within here. We had resistance there, support, resistance, and these last couple days, we had a nice wick there, a nice wick on top there, a nice wick, and it actually finished bearish slightly on Friday. So, because of that, I would like to see a move down. Again, we do have our minor zone that we're going to want to pay attention to. So it's possible we only get a move down to here. But I do suspect it will come down all the way to the 382 retrace off this move that we saw in the past little bit. All right, let's jump up to a weekly chart quickly just so I can show you where that zone came from. Oh, no, this is the one with the monthly chart. All right, so we had strong support here, had a very strong bearish candle, which got rejected and sent back up. So this was a long time ago, yes. However, we're still going to want to pay attention to it because structure leaves clues. Always look left to see what you're dealing with. All right, so that's going to be our zone there. It reacted here. This year has been a little crazy, so, you know, we did break through it. However, we got a nice strong month here in April. May wasn't too much. This month here so far, we have made a significant move, but we've only been in this month for 1 week. So it's very possible that we move back down in and around this level before moving higher. All right, let's go back to a 4-hour chart here. You can see we had a move up last week here. This was on Friday, but since then we moved lower and we are now within this minor zone right here. Red resistance became support, and now we're getting rejected again right here. All right, and if you haven't already noticed, we do have our RSI divergence right there. All right, price moving up, RSI moving down. We did right here, we got into the 80% range. Since then, we've been losing our relative strength. All right, so again, we will look for a move down to roughly 888 on this pair here. We will be watching in and around the 91 price range. All right, and again, even on these Canadian dollar pairs, the Aussie dollar has been super strong lately. Past, I believe, maybe 1-2 months, maybe, has been the strongest currency out of the majors. New Zealand dollar falling not too far behind. But yeah, the Aussie dollar has been crazy lately. But now let's jump over to the New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. This one too, as with the NzdUsd, had a very strong week last week. But we are again within this resistance level. We had support here, resistance here, support, resistance. Even if I go back further, we had support and support right there. So this is a very strong level we are going to want to pay attention to. And let's jump down to a lower time frame. You can see we are heavily overbought past the 80%, just like all the US dollar pairs. All right, we did on Friday have a nice pin bar on the daily chart. All right, yes, we're moving up right now, but this could end up just being a wick. This could easily get rejected as soon as London session hits. They could send this right back down because of this resistance level and because of Friday's rejection. All right, so London session is not for another 4 or 5 hours, so it's very possible that this just gets rejected and we start heading lower this week. All right, let's go to a 4-hour time frame quickly. Not sure why that's up there, but anyway, we do have what looks like it's forming, but there's no confirmation on this yet because we haven't got any bearish candles since we've made a lower move right here. But if we do start to see some bearish candles, that will be a possible divergence. It's not the cleanest, so actually I'm not even going to count that. But yeah, it's possible we get a nice double top here that has formed. If I go to a 1 hour time frame, it might look even better. All right. So if we can break this level right here, roughly in and around there, if we can break that, I would feel very comfortable taking this lower. All right. So wait for a rejection around here. As you can see, we do have our support level right here. It's very minor support. However, it is respecting it. So it's something we're going to want to pay attention to. If we reject here, break this level, I'd like to short this down. And I will be looking for it to hit this trend within our support zone that we had a lot of play in before, at around the 85 price range. All right. And one thing I do want to go over quickly, because I know it's very important this week trading these US dollar pairs, our calendar. I pretty much only see high impact news for the US dollar. All right. So it's going to be crazy. This week is going to be absolutely insane for the US dollars. And the fact that they've lost so much value in the past month, let's say, we do expect this to retrace some of that with maybe some good news coming out this week. We do have on Wednesday FOMC statement, we have interest rate decision, and then a press conference. All right. We have inflation, jobless claims, and then Friday we have some pound news, but that's not till the end of the week, so that's not of super importance at this moment. All right. I do expect them to be pricing this in earlier this week, but do expect more moves on Wednesday when the news actually does come out. But yeah, that's what we're looking at this week. It's going to be a volatile one. Just make sure you have your risk management in place. All right. You're going to want to be careful this week trading any major pairs. All right. Make sure you have confirmation. Make sure you have your stops set at proper levels. And if you need to, use the ATR because, yeah, you don't want to get stopped out on volatility. All right. So that's it for this week's market analysis. Yeah, if some of these play out, I will be entering them, and hopefully this helps you get a better idea on, I don't know, maybe some things that you missed, some pairs you might not have even looked at. Yeah, hopefully these help you get a little bit more confirmation on some of the pairs you want to enter this week. All right. So anyway, that's it for this week's market analysis. Hope you have a good week. Trade green. Keep that risk in check. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.